What's up, everybody? My name is Jeremy Jones and I am back with another video. Today I'm talking my weekly sneaker rotation, so stay tuned.
I don't really know. Got a lot of things changing in my life. Hoping one day I'ma get it all right. Brother is engaged, about to start a new life. Yeah, I haven't had a chill day. Really wanna vibe, appreciate the moments. I've been creating, not scrolling. Mom and dad still support.
Alright, man, I'm back with another video. Now, before I get too deep into this video, y'all already know what to do. Go and hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you know, consider subscribing. I made content about sneakers. Alright, so let's dive into today's video. Just like I said in the intro, man, I am back with another weekly sneaker rotation. Now, this should be week 143 to the best of my knowledge. And if I'm wrong, feel free to correct the kid down in the comment section. Now, y'all already know I started this series off at the beginning of 2023. And here we are. Pretty much it's week 143, right? Okay. Now, if you want to get a sneak peek of what I'm wearing throughout the week, sign up for that sold out Discord. A link is pinned at the top of the comment section and it is free to sign up. Or of course, we continue the sneaker talk where we got a food section, a sports section, you name it, right? Okay. So pretty much if I don't get the content out in time, it's pretty much probably already on the sold out Discord, right? Okay. Now enough rambling. Let's just get to this weekly sneaker rotation. Now, I end things off on a Friday, then pick right back up on Saturday. But for this week, I'm going to cover Saturday and Sunday. And of course, y'all know what that means. I was pretty much in the crib the whole weekend and none other than the comfy Yeezy slides, right? Okay. My old faithfuls, my beaters, my you-know-what, and it's probably been to you-know-what and back. I had these joints since 2021. So pretty much if you think about it, it's 2025, roughly 4 years, right? And if it's not 4 years, it's knocking on it, right? Okay. Now, these are one of those, like, I'm taking out the trash, you know, I'm around the house, I'm like pretty much just, you know, maybe run to the street or run down to the corner store here and there. Nothing too serious, but yeah, it's kind of one of those. I will say this is a shoe that I don't regret purchasing, and I did pay resale for it, but safe to say, if you guys look, I've definitely most likely gotten my money's worth on these guys right here. And this, if I'm not mistaken, this is kind of like, I don't think this was the actual first colorway, but I think this is one of those first waves or second waves of those colorways of these joints right here, man. So pretty much, I know we don't really buy Yeezy slides, or Adidas don't really put them out, but I think Kanye is putting them out on his Yeezy website, but I don't think people are really biting for them like the way they used to back then. So pretty much this was my Yeezy slide for Saturday and Sunday, and this is the pure colorway, right? Okay, cool. Now let's move right along on to Monday. You kids know I work, or you homies know I work a full-time job. I don't want to call anybody kids, but you pretty much know at this point the kid works a full-time job. So Monday, right back to work, and the kid stepped in none other than the Air Jordan 8 Aquas. And I'm very surprised I got the name right this time, because usually I want to call these the grapes, but it's not, right? Okay. And I think it's because it has that purple, but these are the Aquas. One of my favorites in my collection, and I feel like these shoes were probably like, you know, they were readily available when I bought them. I think we've had a restock since I've had my pair, but it's one of those, it's comfortable, right? Okay. And again, I tell the story time and time again. It's a shoe that pretty much, I think Dunk's brother inspired me to buy, because I remember when Dunk's brother had these guys right here, and I'm very, very particular when it comes to my 8s. You know what I'm saying? It is a bulky shoe, but I will say this. Actually, it's super comfortable, man. I will say this, the wings kind of gets on my nerves of how it is, because it's not like really like firm, but at the same time, they still hit, in my opinion, right? Okay, still with the right fit, I still like you can get it off. And definitely a great work shoe, right? Okay, if your job lets you wear sneakers to work, I feel like this is a good shoe where I wouldn't say I would want to call it necessarily a beater, but it's a nice shoe that will be great for work if you have to be on your feet or out and about the entire time. So this was my Monday shoe, the Air Jordan 8 Aqua. Cool, now let's move right along on to Tuesday, right back at work. Kid works a full-time job. Ironically, it did rain, but it actually rained while I was inside the building, and when I got out, I could just tell it rained. But pretty much, right back at work on Tuesday, the kid stepped in none other than the Air Jordan 13s, and these are the Flints. Another childhood sneaker that, you know, I had to purchase. I think I had the 2010 pair, and then when these came out again, I want to check the production date on these in 2020. I had to have these guys right here. I remember whenever I was growing up, I remember watching certain people in my neighborhood having these guys, and I couldn't get them back then, man. So I always wanted these, and these kind of hold like a special place in my heart as to why I always want to keep this particular colorway, right? Okay. Again, I'm not gonna say I necessarily grew up in the ghetto, because I didn't, but at the same time, before we moved a couple around to a different spaces, places that were better, I would say this: we lived in some not so great places too, but we always saw the local neighborhood people that, you know, that were older than me rock these guys right here. And y'all know me, my favorite color is red, but I feel like this shoe obviously gets to me, and I like gray, so it has that great like combination on it. And I don't know if the camera's gonna do this any justice, but obviously it features that 3M on this guy, so the joint pops, and so when the light hits it, you're definitely gonna look good in these guys. So this was my Tuesday shoe, was the Air Jordan 13 Flint. Cool, now let's move right on to Wednesday. Okay, right back at work. A shoe that, to be honest, I don't rock enough, but I need to rock more. I contemplating on selling these guys, but at the same time, Dunks has told me to keep them. Multiple people told me to keep them. So I'm going to listen, because I was told that if more than one person tell you the same thing, you should probably listen, right? Okay, so Wednesday, kid stepped in, right back at work. I was in the Air Jordan 5, and these are the Supreme Desert Camos, right? Okay, I did pay resale for these guys, but at the same time, it wasn't like I had to come off the hip too bad for these. Now I would say the only thing I would say that if I didn't pay resale on these back then, these had a Jumpman on it. The only thing I would say would have did was a Nike check on the back of these. I will say this, that was probably like where, you know, it don't necessarily always have to have a Nike check, but this is a dope conversation piece and is a attention grabber, and I feel like they did a good job overall. I just wish they would have did a Nike check on this guy right here, but it says Jordan on the back. But at the same time, it is a super duper comfortable shoe. Again, one thing people always notice is that I am very comfortable, or I'm very selective when it comes to my 5s, but when it's done right, y'all know I'm there every night, right? Okay, so Desert Camo 5s for Wednesday, super dope shoe. I would like to see Jordan Brand them do, like, and Supreme them do something slightly different to the table other than what we've been getting recently, which is like the Air Force Ones. But you know, this was my Wednesday shoe, was the Air Jordan 5 Supreme Desert Camo. Cool. Let's move right along to Thursday. I haven't rocked these in a while, but I usually save these for when it's bad weather and or winter time. But you know, I felt like, you know what? Let's just switch it up other than out of the norm, right? Okay. And ironically, one of my like previous coworkers would say, you rock these shoes all the time, but I feel like that's just something that stands out to them, right? Okay. So pretty much Thursday, right back at work, stepped in none other than the Air Jordan 11 Space Jams. Now this is a pair from 2016, which Hammer's not gonna do this any justice, but me and many with the kicks have been saying for quite some time, it would be nice to get a fresh pair. They did this pair good, but the yellowing on this joint, and that just comes with the game with the Space Jams. I mean, I would hate to know what my previous pair even looked like, because I got those ones, I wanna say from 09, right? Okay, 45 on the back, and obviously like that cloth material. So Jordan Brand them did put the right thought into this joint, but I mean, I say we're knocking on a door where it doesn't hurt to have a fresh pair. Classic timeless sneaker as always. 11s, I will say, is probably arguably one of my favorite silhouettes. Not necessarily this particular colorway, but just in general, because I feel like 11s bring out every year, as we know we're gonna get an 11 like every December. It brings out a lot of people that, you know, you don't normally see, which can be annoying, but at the same time, it is what it is, and it kind of comes with the game. So this was my Thursday shoe, was the Air Jordan 11 Space Jam, and yeah, man, to be honest, arguably one of my favorites in my collection, right? Okay, cool. Now Fridays, I wanted to close out the week strong, right back at the work. You guys know I work a full-time job. I probably said it 100 times in the video at this point. So pretty much is a shoe that I don't wear enough, and I will say that it's arguably probably the second most silhouette in my collection. There's your hint right there if you've been watching the channel for quite some time. But if you haven't, pretty much kissed out there none other than the Air Jordan 12 Wings. Now this black part is supposed to be scratch offable, but I actually like this black and white colorway. And if anybody knows anything about me at all, if you've been paying attention in the channel at all, gold. I'm a major sucker for the color gold, and these hints of gold on these joints just makes me like these even more. And of course, what also helps is obviously, I don't know if the camera's gonna do this any type of justice, but that way that normally where we have the writing right there, we got Michael Jordan spread his arms pretty much like wings. So pretty much, I don't know if the camera's gonna do this just to see if I can get a little bit of close up for you guys. Maybe just a little bit of justice on that, right? A little bit of focus, but yeah, overall, arguably one of my favorites in my collection. I did pay resale for these, but at the same time, I don't think I came out too bad. And to be honest, I've always said this time and time again, can you really go wrong with a black and white shoe, especially when it has a hint of gold on there? I feel like they did a great job. So this was my Friday shoe, pretty much the Air Jordan 12 Wings. So pretty much that completes my weekly sneaker rotation for this week. Y'all sign off in the comment section and let me know what you wore throughout the week as well. Other than that, man, I'm gonna go and get out of this thing and start rambling, man. Y'all be sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you know, consider subscribing. I made content about sneakers. Again, my name is Jeremy Jones, and thank you for watching, and I'm out.